Mamoru Hosoda has often been called the next Miyazaki, but I don't think that's quite accurate. He certainly has the talent and dedication, but Hosoda does things his own way. While originally directing a few shorts and TV series, Hosoda's breakout success was the 2006 film Toki o Kakeru Kanojo, or The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. This marks a turning point in his career, as from this point onward, people began to view him as a movie director rather than a TV or OVA one. Now, I don't consider myself to be a reviewer, but in order to pick apart Hosoda's intricacies, first we'll have to look at each of his 4 films separately. The Girl Who Leapt Through Time is a story about a high school girl named Makoto Konno and her 2 friends, Chiaki Mamiya and Kosuke Tsuda. We start off following Makoto on a self-described unlucky day. She oversleeps, causes a fire in home ec, gets knocked to the ground, and really it's just an overall bad day. But while taking a stack of papers to the classroom, she soon finds a small walnut-looking object that she quickly learns gives her the ability to leap through time. And this is where we break off from your typical high school melodrama. Makoto immediately begins using her newfound powers for trivial things, to sleep in later, to have her favorite meal whenever she wants, to get A's on tests. But soon enough, she realizes that in avoiding misery, that same misery often happens to someone else, raising the first moral implication of the film. Is it alright to make your life happier if, as a result, an unrelated person winds up suffering? In continuing to do this, Makoto finds bigger and bigger problems to solve through time travel, and soon learns that time is so interwoven that everything she does has effects, and we soon get your standard dilemma of confusion. By the end of the film, her tampering results in heartbreak, pain, and even death before she's finally able to resolve it. If the theme of the film was to be summarized, I think it would be to take each day one at a time, and to enjoy every moment, good and bad alike. But beyond that, it preaches the beauty of the mundanity of life, a theme that shows up consistently throughout Hosoda's film. It shows that even with fantastical powers, the greatest joys can be found in friendship and love. Taking place in a futuristic society where an MMO cross-social network called Oz runs essentially all aspects of daily life, Summer Wars focuses on our protagonist, Kenji Koiso, after being asked to attend the birthday of his crush's grandmother. His crush, Natsuki Shinohara, soon reveals to him that she hot-headedly told her family that she was engaged and that now Kenji will have to pretend to be her fiancé. Just as these 2 aspects of the plot are so different, so too is the entire movie divided into 2 major sides. The first side of the narrative is a heartwarming tale of family drama and growth as the Jinouchi family learns what it truly means to be a family. Over the course of the film, we watch the family interacting with one another and with Kenji, and we slowly start to see that there are some deep-seated issues going on just beneath the surface. After the death of Natsuki's grandmother, the Jinouchi family is thrown into further chaos. Summer Wars is able to portray a large family in a lovable way that, just as Kenji says, makes those without family feel lonely. On the downside, this huge cast of characters is largely unmemorable. There are definitely a few main characters who stick in your mind, but 2 hours isn't really enough to cement 20+ character names and relationships into your head. The second side of Summer Wars is the battle with the hacker AI, Love Machine. At the beginning of the film, we learn that Kenji is a national-level mathematician who only just missed out on representing Japan in the Worldwide Math Olympics. This math skill, however, comes back to haunt him, as when he receives an email with a 2056-digit code, he's able to decrypt it in a single night, thinking it was some sort of game or brain teaser. In replying to the sender, he accidentally gives Love Machine the master password to Oz, allowing him to completely take over and steal other users' avatars, giving him incredible and absolute power in both Oz and in the real world. Now, Kenji and the members of the Jinouchi family must work together in order to take down Love Machine, and this is where our 2 plots converge. In fighting him, the family is able to rebond with one another, cementing the ideas of family and camaraderie. As I've repeated over and over again, the subject of family and what it means in the greater sense is the main theme of the film. The trust shown by every single character is genuinely touching, and even manages to impact the outside world. In the climax, the idea of family is extended as far as it can possibly go. Over 150 million people decide to put their trust in Natsuki to help her defeat Love Machine, even going so far as to put their lives on the line. The whole scene is just so beautifully crafted, with the perfect amount of hesitation, worry, and melancholy. It may or may not have made me a little bit misty-eyed for a moment. The animation and overall art quality has an immediate and obvious step up from The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. While characters are still rendered in the same flat, simple style, other things like color design, both in and outside of Oz, are striking, especially the backgrounds. But the area where animation truly shines, however, is the facial expressions during dialogue and conversations. In just a few seconds, Kenji can go through 4 or 5 emotions, all of which clearly show on his face. Characters subtly reacting to one another really goes a long way in the overall quality of the presentation. Summer Wars sets itself far above most anime movies, but even it pales in comparison to what comes next. In the eyes of many, Okami Kodomo Ame to Yuki, or Wolf Children Ame and Yuki, is Hosoda's greatest film to date and even one of the best anime films to ever be produced. Wolf Children tells the tale of a woman named Hana who falls in love with a nameless wolfman, a person who is obviously half wolf and half human, with the ability to shift between the two. Interestingly though, the film doesn't portray this as most would, as a man who can change into a wolf, but rather, he's presented truly as half of both. This specific presentation sets up the main conflict throughout the movie. After falling in love, Hana and the man have 2 children, Yuki and Ame, 1 year apart from each other. The man proves to be a good, loving father, but soon tragedy strikes. Shortly after Ame's birth, he's killed in an accident, and Hana must raise her newborn children alone. This is where Hana truly begins to shine as one of the greatest badasses in all of anime. No other character has ever been more dedicated or loving than Hana, sacrificing everything she has for her children. In order to provide for them, she decides to move into the country and to buy an old abandoned house to renovate. There she learns how to farm and to work together with her neighbors. Soon Ame and Yuki start going to school, and we soon realize that the energetic tomboy Yuki and the sickly and quiet Ame are rapidly trading places. In childhood, Yuki would often transform into a wolf and play outdoors, whereas Ame would stay close with his mom, and once said that he never even wanted to become a wolf at all. Now, however, Yuki wants to give up her life as a wolf in favor of being human, whereas Ame is spending increasing time in the mountains as a wolf. In the emotional climax of the film, Ame decides to abandon his life as a human altogether, and to venture forth into the wilderness to live there as a wolf. Half a year after this, Yuki decides to move 2.5 hours away to the dorms in her new middle school, leaving Hana completely alone. The first time I watched Wolf Children, I hated both Ame and Yuki for abandoning their mother, but on subsequent viewings I realized something. That's the whole point. Wolf Children is a story of a mother raising her children in a way to provide them with infinite opportunities. Yuki became the ultimate human, whereas Ame became the ultimate wolf. They're both happy, and Hana is happy for them despite being alone. In a film about the pains of raising children, we're shown that the biggest pain of all is letting go. Hosoda's latest work, Bakemono no Ko, or The Boy and the Beast, is yet another radiant work in his portfolio. Probably his most out there film, it manages to reaffirm everything that Hosoda has built his career on. The Boy and the Beast splits its time fairly evenly between Shibuya, Japan, and the fictional world of Jutengai, or the Beast Kingdom. Starting off by showing our main character Ren just after his mother's death, we follow him around Shibuya and into Jutengai. There he meets a beast named Kumatetsu, a strong yet ill-mannered martial artist who will soon be competing in a duel to become the Grand Master of Jutengai. But in order to become the Grand Master, Kumatetsu must have a disciple, and so he recruits Ren. Though at first hesitant, Ren eventually agrees to this and is given the nickname Kyuta. The first thing he learns is that Kumatetsu is a bad teacher, but by copying everything done by Kumatetsu, he slowly learns to hold his own in a fight. Time skip 9 years, and Kyuta is known all around Jutengai as a strong warrior. After accidentally finding his way back into the human world for the first time in 9 years, Kyuta visits the library where he meets a girl named Kaede. Fascinated by the pursuit of knowledge, Kyuta soon grows close to her through studying together. Eventually, Kaede tells him there's only so much she can teach him and that he should enroll in college, setting up one of the first major obstacles of the plot. Kyuta deeply cares for his master, who he views as a father, yet desperately craves more and more knowledge about the outside world. This thirst for knowledge eventually gets him into a fight with Kumatetsu, where he runs away, vowing to never return. But he does come back after hearing that the battle to determine the next Grandmaster has finally arrived. Through Kyuda's support, Kumatetsu is able to win, but is then attacked by his opponent's son, Ichiro Hiko. Following Ichiro Hiko back into the human world, Kyuda has the final fight and is only able to win due to the love of his foster father, Kumatetsu. Okay, so now that I've loosely gone over each of his 4 films, let's discuss the similarities and through lines. Clearly, there's a very strong theme of family throughout his films, with the possible exception of The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, though even there, it focuses strongly on friendship. His other 3 films focused almost exceptionally on the idea of family, whether it be real or adopted, and all glorify being with family as true happiness. Mamoto has stated that with Wolf Children and Boy and the Beast, he has now made a movie about motherhood and fatherhood respectively, and soon hopes to make a movie about siblings. Interestingly, Wolf Children and Boy and the Beast focus on completely different aspects of parenting, possibly showing Hosoda's view on motherhood versus fatherhood. Whereas Wolf Children focuses on Hana raising her kids throughout all trials and tribulations, Boy and the Beast shows how a child can help the parent grow, and that foster parents can have just as much, if not more, impact on the lives of their children as their blood parents. Summer Wars has yet another view on family by presenting such a huge cast all at once. It supplies the idea that you're never alone so long as you have your family there for you, and they will always be there for you. The other biggest narrative continuity I noticed was the illustration of mundanity through fantasticism. Take a look at The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, where despite fabulous powers, the greatest thing of all are the friendships and love forged through those adventures. All of these films are able to glorify their locations through relevance to fictional scenarios. Wolf Children is able to turn an abandoned house into a fabulous location through the love put into it. The house itself isn't anything special, but rather what makes it special is the sheer dedication that went into rebuilding it and what it means to Hana. Take that same idea in Summer Wars, where the old Japanese castle is cool and all, but what makes it awesome is how the rest of the cast interacts with it and interact with each other within it. They all know exactly how it's laid out, and are able to use that to help one another and to help themselves. Some of the more aesthetic consistencies that I've noticed are the flat character designs with little shading juxtaposed to highly detailed, super colorful backgrounds. While occasionally looking strange or off-model, the characters are nonetheless able to ground their worlds in a sense of reality. Additionally, with each passing movie, Hosoda seemed more and more willing to use computer-generated animation, especially in backgrounds and effects. While CG is generally really jarring in anime, the presentation in these films was phenomenal. The CG was only ever used to amplify the art that was currently on screen. For an example of this, just take a look at the opening scene of Boy and the Beast. All this fire that you're seeing right now couldn't possibly have been drawn by hand. Additionally, we would often receive Evangelion-esque still shots, or slow pans, that provided more emotion than any animation could have hoped to. Mamoru Hosoda may not be the next Miyazaki, but I don't think that he needs to be. Hosoda makes his own unique works and has the potential to become the next big name in animation, capable of standing next to Miyazaki himself. Hey guys, thanks a lot for watching this week's video on Mamoru Hosoda. I had a lot of fun making it, and I hope you had a lot of fun watching it as well. In case you missed the last video on Keijo, I actually launched a Patreon, so if you'd like to help support me, you can head on over to patreon.com/senpizzle. I make new analysis videos every other Wednesday, posted at 1 p.m. Pacific time. So hey, thanks a lot for watching guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.